At least he isn't Eric Dampier. What is going on, y'all? It's your man Mike Tight, the gaming savant, bringing y'all another episode of the Blitz. And you may not be able to tell because I'm filming this from the waist up if I'm wearing socks or not. The answer is I'm not wearing socks. It's the magic of video editing. But today we'll be talking about NBA free agency. Actually, to be more precise, the Dallas Mavericks. And finally, by God, finally, they signed a big name free agent. That's not Dwight Howard or Darren Williams or LeBron James or Carmelo Anthony or pretty much any good player that's been an unrestricted free agent for probably the past decade. For y'all that know, the Mavericks signed Wes Matthews to a 4-year, $64 million contract, prying him away from the Sacramento Kings. And the Mavericks also signed the big fish, probably the second best player in this free agency draft of 2015, Deandre Jordan, to a 4-year, $81 million contract. Now, as a Mavericks fan, this excites me. Now, does this make them an automatic championship contender? No, it does not. There's still some holes they need to fill, and I'll go over that a little bit later in the video, but I just want to give my thoughts and views on how this changes the Mavericks for the present and in the future. Now, DeAndre Jordan, quite possibly, I'm going to say DeAndre Jordan's probably the best athletic big man the Mavericks have ever had in franchise history, at least as far as back I can remember, to the early 90s to now. We've had Tyson Chandler, Rafe LaFrentz, Sean Bradley, Eric Dampier, Deshauna Diop, Jan Mahimi. Who else have we had there that's in a rotation? A lot of people. There's probably some I can't even think of. Yijing Ling, I think that's his name. Wang Jiji, I think that was his name. Whatever. But so this is a big signing for the Mavericks. Simple reason is that he's going to be the rim protector. But he can do a quarter of what he did with the Clippers, with the Mavericks. It'll be a win because the Mavericks desperately needed help at center position. Now, where this can be a fault, because it just depends on what they plan to do with the rest of their cap space with their bench, is that they have that Indian center that they drafted as the technical backup. So y'all know last season, Tyson Chandler, after we did the Rondo trade and traded Brandon Wright, Tyson Chandler was just ragged after that game. He had no pretty much solidified center to back him up and give him a good rest whenever he needs. Now with DeAndre Jordan, it's a little bit different. I'm probably sure because he's still young. He's about 26, 27 years old. He could probably play a full 48-minute games if he wanted to. You know, he's very athletic. He's actually pretty well conditioned for a center, at least in my opinion he is. But we do need another backup center. I don't know who that Indian guy is that they drafted. I just know that he's slower than Dirk, and that's never good when you're slower than quite possibly one of the slowest big men, scoring big men in the league. Now, the signing of Wes Matthews. I like it. I do think that they overpaid for him a little bit just because he's coming off an Achilles injury, ACL injury, and I've heard a statistician that people that come off those type of injuries always shoot 5% less than what they normally do. But if he can play almost as good as he did in Portland with the Mavericks, I feel like that'll also be a big win. We do need help scoring at the shooting guard since we did lose Monte Ellis. We actually lost a lot of people, man. We lost Ellis, Aminu, Chandler. Barea left, but then he decided, you know what, I want to come back because they're actually doing things now. And Barea and DeAndre Jordan in that pick and roll, you thought those Tyson Chandler and Brandon Wright alley-oops were sick. Just wait for that. That's going to be something very special. Now, the team overall, like I said, this does not make the Mavericks a contender. What this does, I feel like going forward for the future, you have a good nucleus with Jordan and DeAndre Jordan. I'm sorry, Parsons and DeAndre Jordan. I'm recording this at 2 a.m. in the morning. Give me a little break, people. So, with Parsons and Jordan, Parsons being about 26, Jordan being about 26, 27, that's a good nucleus for next year, possibly bringing in another big fish if they have the cap space. Now, what they need to do, hopefully through the draft within the next next 2 years, find a replacement for Dirk. Find an heir to Dirk's throne. This is why I wish they would have signed Paul Millsap last year, because he would have been a perfect person to succeed Dirk. You see the greatness that he did in Atlanta with that team. Just imagine what he could have did with this roster right here. But of course, he re-signed back with Atlanta. And they also need to find a point guard. Now, as soon as I heard this guy wasn't going to re-sign back with his team, I automatically thought he's going to be a Maverick, and that is Jeremy Lin. I have no problem with Jeremy Lin. I actually personally like Jeremy Lin. I feel like he's a good size point guard. He has a good mid-range drive to the basket gameplay that I think that would go well with this offense. I just know he's not going to be the long-term answer. I don't know what the long-term answer is going to be. Devin Harris, of course, is just going to be a backup. I don't like him as a starting point guard. I kind of like Barea as a starting point guard, but I don't see him in a starting point guard role. I think he's very good coming off the bench and being somebody who attacks the basket and puts pressure on the defense to open up for other shooters and big men. But I don't know. Hopefully next year in the draft, if they can get their pick back from Boston, or if they, don't do bad enough to give it to them, that they can somehow trade for another point guard. There's still hope of maybe doing a sign and trade for Eric Bledsoe, maybe with the Pacers, George Hill, because Monte Ellis is supposed to be one to go to the Pacers. I don't know. There's so much stuff out there that I don't know what all the possibilities is, but that's just a couple of things that I thought off the top of my head. But like I said, this is very good for the Mavericks. It's good going forward because now they have a nucleus. They have the big man, they got the small forward. Now they just need maybe another young point guard or maybe another young big man to pair with DeAndre Jordan to take over after Dirk finally retires, whenever he does. But yeah, like I said, this is very good for the Mavericks. It's very interesting to see what they'll do with the rest of their cap space and the rest of free agency, to see if they can bring in some role players who will complement Parsons and Jordan and Dirk very well to help them go on the forward. Now, giving predictions, I think this maybe bumps them up maybe 1 or 2 spots. With the roster that they had last year, or the roster going into before they made these free agent signings, I had them maybe at a 7 seed, 8 seed at the worst. I think this move could possibly put them in the 6th, maybe as high as the 4th, but I would go no higher than that. Of course, they still got to get over the Spurs, who, as it looks like right now, are probably going to sign LaMarcus Aldridge. You still got Houston, who pretty much retained all their people, plus they got I forget who they drafted. I want to say it's Portis. I think they drafted Portis. I'm not 100% sure, but they drafted somebody really good. And then, of course, you got the Clippers, although it's interesting to see how they're going to be after they, post DeAndre Jordan. Are they going to be the same team that they were last year that almost got to the Western Conference Finals? Of course, you still got Golden State, who pretty much retained everybody, paid Draymond Green. You still got Curry, David Lee maybe going somewhere, but hey, he got him a ring, so he can go off and go somewhere else. But it's very interesting to see how the West is going to play out. I do think, like I said, this put the Mavs at the highest 4 seed, at the lowest probably a 6 seed. But let me know what you guys think, all my Mavs fan out there. How do you think the signing of DeAndre Jordan and Wes Matthews impacts this team? Who else do you think they should try to go after in free agency, whether it be a point guard, a backup power forward, backup center? Let me know. I'd like to hear your feedback back below. It makes me feel good in the heart. So hot in this room. Want to thank y'all for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It's your man Mike Titan, and I'm out this piece. Gone.